whilst we're on the medico stuff, lots of rumour and innuendo about Didac, strained pec, torn bicep tendon, and he's going to play. I've heard those three stories today. Is he up for selection or has he got an issue?
Any player that missed last week's got an issue, but I'm very comfortable that they'll all play.
Talk about a positive, and that's the pressure you've had in the forward line, and almost the forward pressure you've had in your half of the ground. Was that a takeout of last year? I mean, when did you decide that that was the way Collingwood needs to win football games?
James, I think football, everything changes and nothing changes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I put may have been Jared Blair, or it could have been Brent McCaffrey on a forward on a back one day early in the season, and he worked the bloke over and were able to manufacture a couple of goals and stop his run. Everyone jumps on board. You see it back and forth. I can tell you, in 1984, I put Ian Rickman on Keith Creek. Chops on Keith Creek. Arden Street, hadn't beaten North Melbourne for umpteen number of years. I would check your records. I reckon he's kicked 4 or 5 goals. We won the game. No, I'll say 84. It might have been 85. But we always we repeat things. And I suppose being in the game as long as I have, you're able to drag out certain things and make things happen. So that question was, I would like to think that we did a bit of that at Footscray against Essendon, in fact, because Essendon had such a wonderful football side, but they never had, our Footscray side had no fear about Essendon, and we were able to play them tight, hard games. Robert Anderson on a half-forward flank, Jimmy Evan on a half-forward flank, and these sort of players put massive pressure on the running backs of Essendon in the 80s. Now you just go forward a few years and you readjust, you digest it a bit more, and you think, well, we can still work it.
But the stats say you've been better than anyone has been this year over the history of the AFL and the way your forward defence.
Well, we've planned our players pretty well, and they're disciplined, and they enjoy their role, and we enjoy their role. And we've enjoyed the year, and I think that when you do something well and it comes about, you start to take even a bit more pride in it, and it becomes more fashion. No one could perfect the game better than Geelong has over the last 2 or 3 seasons by going from probably mid-300 possessions to now 400 and something possessions. 5 years ago we'd have considered madness because you'd give it up. Now they take great pride in hand passing you 5 times before you even kick it, and you can just see them gaining confidence, and they've created something over 2 or 3 years which is unique, and we would like to think that we've got something going for us.
Good. Mick, your record and your body language says that you're coaching as well as you've ever coached. You've 79 games behind Jock McHale as the longest serving coach in the history of the game. Does that hold any appeal to you? Because at the current situation, you can't get there.
Michael, this time last year I was too old.
And you're going around the boundary.
You. And
I'm older than you.
Yeah, I did. I challenged you on that.
You did.
But you did. That. You said I was too old. Now you're saying I'm young enough to keep going. So
no, I asked you the question. Does the
am I too old or am I young enough?
Well, I mean, it'd be silly to say that you're not coaching perfectly at the moment. So
no, the contract's been signed. I can live very easily with that. There's another 12 months to go, and hopefully there's another few weeks to go in this year. Quite frankly, I don't get too caught up in records whatsoever. I don't see them as being anything more than a second generation thought tank within a family, because after the 3rd generation they don't remember you. so I don't really get that annoys the hell out of Nanette, but it's an absolute fact. So why worry about it? Just on records, you've got 2 assistant coach, Neil and Buckley, have gone for jobs, and one's going to get a job in 12 months' time. Scott Watters, though, has got the best record of them all. He's doing a defensive coach. He's coached over in Subiaco, I think it is, over in Perth, the premierships. He's coached the Western Australian side, and yet we don't hear anything about him. Yeah, well, I think in fairness, we don't, because some of the coaches coming out from Collingwood, I've got the greatest faith in. I think that there's no question in my mind, if Essendon don't look at Dean Laidley, there's something wrong. Dean Laidley is an outstanding tactician, outstanding coach, wonderful bloke. Guy McKenna, I believe, will be a fantastic success, because he's not only got football ability, he's got human qualities that will get the players just to follow him wherever. as he will say to you, any redhead that's loved is obviously a very good redhead. And even though he's got a hump as big as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they still seem to, Quasimodo, they still seem to love him. Brad Scott's a fantastic, going to be, having his first year to finish with a 50% record is just fantastic for North Melbourne and him. Mark Neild should be considered. And I would never put a name out there that I didn't think would be a success. Yep. I think that, we know that Nathan's got a Collingwood job in a year. I think Scott Watters needs to have another 2 or 3 seasons. And I say that only because WAFL's WAFL, the next level up. I would like to think that over the next, well, certainly next year, rearrange his job and give him a greater cider of other divisions. But Gavin Brown's another beauty. I think Gavin Brown's underestimated because he's coaching VFL. But I suppose there's other clubs that are also saying about their own. But I know these blokes, and I think they've got the qualities to be good coaches.
Mick, you finished on top. You get no more reward than the Bulldogs, who are 4th. Is that fair?
Well, what else do we need?
I don't know. I mean, but you're the ones that have finished on top. Do you feel that that's equitable, do you? That you can no difference between the rewards for 1 and 4?
Well, I think in a 16-team competition that's going, well, and soon to be 18, I think that will materialise. Like, how often are we going to play another Victorian side? And I think there is a slight advantage. We play at the MCG, which is our home ground. If we're playing Gold Coast, or if we're playing Sydney, or we're playing Fremantle, of course it's a distinct advantage. But in a national competition that plays so many teams from Melbourne, you can't expect it then just to go, oh, look, we'll play at Victoria Park. I don't see anything wrong with what the current system is.
Can I ask you one quick one just before you go? If you happen to be coaching St Kilda on Friday night, would you send Baker straight to Stevie Johnson?
Oh, I don't like getting caught up in other coaches' roles and that sort of stuff, but I would.
You're in the rooms, the Richmond rooms, yesterday. You were there, I take it, to wish Ben Cousins all the best. You had a great relationship with him for a period of time. What do you think of the documentary?
I thought it was outstanding. A lot of people will judge it. It'll galvanise people one way or the other, but those that know Ben will see that as what it was intended to be. I thought it was outstanding. And
one final one from me. The return of the torpedo. Now, I'm not sure whether Goldsack has got no other options, but it's been great for us torpedo lovers to see it. Will we see it in finals? Because that's the big test.
Well, is this the one that works? No, it's not. No, it's not. I would, I said to him, there's a couple of blokes who can kick torps at our place. It's such a shame it's dying. I just hate to think it's going to die. And that's like saying about the dropkick, I suppose. But I don't want to see this die. And there's a couple that can really give it a hoik. But I've got no one from the back line. I don't think any of the boys down the back line. So I said to Goldie, look, I'm going to give you a very, very quick lesson on how to do some torps. He said, I know how to do torps. Anyway, we practice and practice. So I said, look, I'll pull the trigger for you. Just wait for my cue, and we'll just see if we can put one. Well, if he had stuck to that first one, we'd all be going, wow, why doesn't he do it more often? Because, I mean, we got a goal within, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. You know where the next one went? Straight back over his head. It went out and come back and went over his head. Now, I look at that and go, percentages-wise, we got a goal, they got a goal. That's not great percentage for winning games of footy.
Presty come back as fullback. He's been in hospital, hasn't he, Presty?
Yeah.
For extended time, longer than we thought?
Only now did you know it. Because he's the only bloke on this planet who plays AFL football that would go to hospital and no one knows about it. So he was so upset. I went and said, have the media been here, Simon? He said, no, and I haven't even mentioned the paper that makes me in hospital.
He was in for 4 days, was he?
I don't know. Days. I can't say how many days he was in, Michael.
Rest assured, Mickey's going to get plenty of attention over the next 4 weeks. May even get a page in the Age 16 page lift out on the pies. Appreciate your time. No, it's a busy week. A lot of expectation on your shoulders. Hopefully for Magpies fans, we'll be talking to you on the Monday after the grand final. And the tradition, Mike, when the coach comes in and chats to us. Thanks for your time again.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Mick.
No Mick Malthouse, our special guest. Plenty more to come. Stay with us here on The Couch.